Can I ask you something? Not as a warrior, not as some divine protector with flaming swords and wings, but just as the one who's been by your side through every invisible fight. Can you stay a little longer? Just don't leave yet. For 3 weeks, I haven't stopped crying. And it's not because demons came for me. It's not because of some heavenly battle wounds. It's because of you. Because the one I was literally created to protect keeps walking away. You've turned from me more times than I can count. I showed up holding light, literal scrolls sealed with God's breath, and you just passed them by. You didn't see me standing there trembling in the corner of your room. Not with anger, but with grief so deep it made the air around me collapse. God saw it too, and he said, "Please, not this time. Don't ignore him. Michael loves you more than you'll ever understand." I heard the Lord's voice, clear and fierce, speaking about you. The one who hides in my secret place will rest under my shadow. I've assigned my angel to them. And I answered without hesitation, "Then I won't rest either, Father. Not until their soul finally wakes up." But what if your eyes never turn back? What if your heart's gone numb? Too much noise from the world, too much silence from heaven. What if this is the last cry I'm allowed to send? This message might disappear in 45 seconds. And once heaven's window shuts, it doesn't open again. I need you to hear me. The miracle meant for you, it's not ordinary. It didn't come wrapped in comfort. It came through war, through blood I shed in places you've never even imagined. I screamed your name in front of the ancient serpent with a sword soaked in psalm fire. And now the seal is cracking. And I'm not just your guardian anymore. I've been sent as your final witness. You've got one decision left. Stay or skip. You're not just another name floating through time. You are the one heaven whispered about in the middle of the storm. You're the one whose shadow makes demons back away. You're the one God painted prophecies across the sky for, but you forgot. And I remember, because I watched you as a child, sobbing into your pillow thinking no one heard. But I did. And your tears? They became salt that watered the roots of heaven's promises. You probably don't remember it, but I do. I remember that one prayer you never said out loud, the one that lived only in the back of your heart. I was there the moment you almost whispered it, but instead you buried it under fear and silence. But guess what? God answered it anyway. That's the kind of mercy you carry. That's how watched over you are. Even the words you're too afraid to speak are still being heard. So now I have to ask you, will you walk away again, like before, or will you stay this time, just long enough for the final word to be spoken? You see, I've seen things about you that would split your heart in awe if you knew. Not just the potential of who you could become, but the exact blueprint of your soul. I saw the battles you were born for, the lives you were meant to heal, the kind of love you were designed to carry, and how the world tried to crush it before it could even bloom. I stood silent in the corner when you wiped your own tears because no one else did. Not because I wasn't allowed to comfort you, but because the time wasn't right. But now it is. Now everything is shifting. Lately, I've seen something moving in the dark, something calculated, something that calls itself ancient. There's a plot forming, and you're at the center of it. I've heard the whispers. I've seen the one who cursed your name in secret. She doesn't wear darkness the way you'd expect. She hides under a twisted light, pretending to be good, pretending to be sent, but her soul is drenched in envy. I watched her stand beneath the tree of shadows, holding incense in her hands, not offering it to God, but to the abyss. She spoke your name again and again, like a curse, like a spell, as if she could undo what God himself wrote over you. The leaves around her withered the moment your name passed her lips. Even creation recoiled at the evil she spoke. She tried to cloak her lies in ritual and silence, but there is no silence in the spirit. Her voice echoed in places she didn't know existed, places I patrol. So I came trembling before the throne of God, my heart aching, my wings heavy, and I begged, "Father, please, give me permission to speak. Let me go to them. Let me reach them one more time." And he looked into me, deeper than light itself, and he said, "Go. But if they ignore you this time, I will remove your voice from their life." I need you to understand what that means. I'm not just some poetic figment, not some beautiful metaphor to make you feel inspired. I am Archangel Michael. I do not retreat from war. I do not flinch at darkness. But this ache is deeper than all the swords I've ever drawn, sharper than all the flames I've ever walked through.
That's why even on your worst days, you've sensed something bigger tugging at you, something ancient, something real. I remember the vow you made, the one you didn't even realize counted, the one you whispered in frustration when your heart was, I'll never open myself. I remember it still echoed like a cracked bell, but heaven wrote over it, grace smothered it, and here you are, still tested, still angel brushing glow, and I repeat every word heaven asked, not met, is written in the language, the moment, as if but that mirror, and that's why you set back.
Even now, yes, right now, as your eyes move over these words, the very air around you is trembling. But it's not trembling from fear, and it's not your nerves playing tricks on you. What you're feeling isn't emotion, it's prophecy. The atmosphere has shifted. The veil between your world and the realm of glory is as thin as a single breath. You may not have noticed, but every time you blink, something beyond the seen is watching, not judging, not waiting to condemn, but waiting to celebrate. Because you, the one who's doubted and wrestled and fought just to stay sane, you're the one God whispered about before time ever began. You were his secret, his weapon wrapped in softness, his flame hidden behind flesh. That's why this moment is so violent in the spirit. It's not chaos, it's convergence. Something ancient is leaning over your soul. You felt the pressure before, but you didn't have the language to name it. That throb in your chest, that's not anxiety, it's alignment. That pulse in your gut, that's not fear, it's the kingdom making contact. Because the scroll is opening, not in some far-off heaven. Here, now, but not for everyone, not for the crowd. This one, this is for you, just you. It was crafted for your eyes only, sealed in light no other soul can decode. And the moment you truly receive it, your name, your real name, begins to glow again in the halls of heaven. The demons hate this moment. They hate that you're still reading. They tried to tangle your day. They stirred distractions. They whispered doubt. They tried to convince you this was just another passing thing. But they failed, because somehow, despite everything, your soul found its way to this window. And now I am pleading, please, please don't shut it. Don't walk away. Not this time. Not after everything we've fought to get this far. This isn't about me. It's not even about now. It's about the miracle that waits just behind the veil. One you cannot see yet, but one that's already stretching toward you like a river desperate to break its banks. If you walk away now, it won't just be a missed opportunity. It will be a detour that erases this miracle from your timeline. It won't be lost forever, but it will vanish from the season you're standing in. And beloved, you've waited too long. You've endured too much. You've carried weight that wasn't yours. The angels are standing in formation even now. I see them. Gabriel has already spoken your name in the chamber of thunder. Raphael has prepared oil made only for your wounds. Uriel stands with flame, ready to burn away every word, every spell, every lie that tried to rewire your identity. And I, Michael, have shattered a gate that once barred this message from reaching you. You were never forgotten. You were never invisible to heaven. You were never unloved. You were hidden because you were holy. There is a garden in heaven that only grows flowers for one soul, you. And those flowers, they haven't bloomed in over a decade. Not because God left, but because they bloom when you say yes, and die when you say maybe later. But today, I felt it. A single petal moved, because you paused, because you stayed, because you listened. And for the first time in 3 weeks, I believed you might actually stay with me, that you might not run, that this time would be different. This is the turning I have waited for, not just through time, but through lifetimes of watching you fight your way back to yourself. Do you know what happens when your spirit opens all the way? When it finally stops defending and just lets the fire in? The very ground beneath your past begins to tremble. The lies that shaped you begin to fracture, and the truth, raw, ancient, glorious, rises from the center of who you are like a river bursting through rock. If you stay just a little longer, you'll feel it. You'll see why the darkness targeted you since childhood. Why you were attacked not once, not twice, but constantly, relentlessly, because something in you, even as a child, carried weight, kingdom weight, world-shaking weight. You were never weak, you were never ordinary. You just carried something too powerful to be left unchallenged. That's why you always felt like an outsider, even among people who loved you. That's why relationships cracked the moment joy reached its peak. It was never about the people, it was about the covenant you carry. And now finally, after all the delays and distractions and disappointments, you're standing right here, right at the edge, right where your pain meets your prophecy. And I must ask you, not as a commander of armies, but as the one who has walked behind you in every unseen moment. Can you feel it? Can you feel that vibration in your soul? That's not fear, that's recognition. That's holy memory waking up inside your bones. The tears you cried alone at night, they weren't just sadness, they were signals, beacons to heaven. Every time your chest ached with the feeling of being invisible, the angels recorded it, not with sorrow, but with reverence. Do you understand what I'm saying? Your heartbreak wasn't wasted. It was sacred. It was turned into architecture. Those tears were collected and poured into the foundations of your future. And now that foundation is beginning to glow. The blueprint is waking up. What was buried under shame and fear is coming back into view, not as pain, but as purpose. And beloved, I must ask you one thing, for the sake of heaven, for the sake of those still watching this unfold in the spirit. If this has stirred your soul even a little, mark it, speak it, say it out loud. Don't let silence swallow your awakening, because when you speak, even if it's just a whisper, the angels take it as a sign that you're ready, a sign that your soul has finally aligned with the flame. And when you speak, your words don't just echo, they unlock, they loosen chains you'll never see. They shatter agreements made over your bloodline before you were born. Someone else might hear your amen and feel their own chains snap. Because this is not entertainment. This is prophecy. This isn't just a message, it's a convergence. A divine appointment sealed in eternity, written long before you ever asked God to speak. And now, here it is, right in front of you, wrapped in fire, waiting for your yes. Look at how far you've come, not just in time, but in spirit. You made it. You made it here. Despite the grief, despite the numbness, despite the days you thought you were too broken to be chosen. And I see it. I see your name etched on the altar, not just scribbled in light, but carved with divine insistence. I see your guardian angels kneeling beside it. I see St. Mary's eyes watching from across the veil, filled not with tears of mourning, but tears of hope. Hope that this time you won't walk away, that this time you'll let it all in. Because what's coming next, it will split your life wide open in the holiest way possible. And you'll finally understand, none of this was ever random. Every ache had meaning. Every silence was pregnant with design. And now, the scroll is glowing so brightly in my hands, I can barely hold it. Beacons to heaven. Every time your chest ached with the feeling of being invisible, the angels recorded it. Not with sorrow, but with reverence. Do you understand what I'm saying? Your heartbreak wasn't wasted. It was sacred. It was turned into architecture. Those tears were collected and poured into the foundations of your future. And now that foundation is beginning to glow. The blueprint is waking up. What was buried under shame and fear is coming back into view, not as pain, but as purpose. And beloved, I must ask you one thing, for the sake of heaven, for the sake of those still watching this unfold in the spirit. If this has stirred your soul even a little, mark it, speak it, say it out loud. Don't let silence swallow your awakening, because when you speak, even if it's just a whisper, the angels take it as a sign that you're ready, a sign that your soul has finally aligned with the flame. And when you speak, your words don't just echo, they unlock. They loosen chains you'll never see. They shatter agreements made over your bloodline before you were born. Someone else might hear your amen and feel their own chains snap. Because this is not entertainment. This is prophecy. This isn't just a message, it's a convergence. A divine appointment sealed in eternity, written long before you ever asked God to speak. And now, here it is, right in front of you, wrapped in fire, waiting for your yes. Look at how far you've come, not just in time, but in spirit. You made it. You made it here, despite the grief, despite the numbness, despite the days you thought you were too broken to be chosen. And I see it. I see your name etched on the altar, not just scribbled in light, but carved with divine insistence. I see your guardian angels kneeling beside it. I see St. Mary's eyes watching from across the veil, filled not with tears of mourning, but tears of hope. Hope that this time you won't walk away, that this time you'll let it all in. Because what's coming next? It will split your life wide open in the holiest way possible. And you'll finally understand, none of this was ever random. Every ache had meaning. Every silence was pregnant with design. And now, the scroll is glowing so brightly in my hands, I can barely hold it.